The Russian occupation army has big problems in Kursk region. The Russian armed forces are under threat of encirclement near Tetkino in Kursk region. This was reported by the Z resource, Northern Channel, which is associated with the Russian army. He described the situation on this section of the front for the Russian armed forces as very bad. Tetkino. The situation is on the brink. The enemy continues to encircle our garrison. And they are succeeding. They have set up a strongpoint at the cemetery of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, and are bringing up infantry, drones and artillery. They are not able to dislodge them from the strongpoints. After the artillery preparation, which was not entirely successful, they sent the Feodosia paratroopers into the assault. The result? The Ukrainian armed forces are in place, and there are fewer and fewer paratroopers. The word encirclement is already flashing in large letters, the Z channel wrote. He calls on the Russian military command to urgently transfer reserves to this area. Officials show pictures where we are defeating everyone. Because of this, it may seem that everything is under control there. Nothing is under control there. Without the introduction of reserves, there will be complete. The resource wrote. The Ukrainian side has not yet commented on the information. According to the OSIN project Deep State, Ukraine controls about 11 square kilometers of Russian territory in this section of the front, and another 10 square kilometers are a gray zone where fighting is taking place. In late March, Russian Chief of General Staff Valery Gerasimov, talking to Russian President Vladimir Putin, claimed that Russian forces have completely liberated Kursk Oblast from Ukrainian troops. Ukraine, however, continues to control small parts of Kursk Oblast, conducted small-scale incursions into nearby Belgorod Oblast, and now also attack Tetkino in southwestern Kursk Oblast. In addition to Tetkino, Ukrainian forces reportedly launched mechanized assaults on nearby Novyi Put, located east of Tetkino along the international border. Russian sources reported repelling those attacks and stated that Ukrainian troops used mine-clearing equipment to breach defensive lines. More than 25,000 residents in 3 provinces have been evacuated as dozens of wildfires remain active and affect air quality in parts of Canada and the US, according to officials. According to Associated Press, most of the evacuated residents were from Manitoba, which declared a state of emergency last week. In Manitoba, more than 17,000 people have been displaced since last week, including 5,000 residents of Flin Flon near the Saskatchewan boundary. Emergency centers were set up as available hotel rooms in cities have been scarce. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinyu said some 1,000 hotel rooms were being made available for evacuees in Winnipeg. Smoke was reducing air quality and reducing visibility in Canada and into some U.S. states along the border on Sunday. Greenpeace International environmental group activists have used a wax figure of French President Emmanuel Macron to stage an anti-Moscow protest outside of Russian embassy in Paris. The statue was stolen from the popular Grevin Wax Museum in Paris and placed outside the Russian embassy. 3 people, posing as museum employees, discreetly removed the €40,000 figure through a rear exit, concealing it under a blanket. The smiling statue was then brought to the Russian embassy and positioned beside a sign that read, "Ukraine is burning, business continues." Greenpeace France director Jean-François Juillard accused Macron of encouraging French companies to continue trading with Russia. Juillard said Macron should be the first among European leaders to end trade contracts with Russia. It should be noted that France has been among the leading supporters of Kiev since Russia's full-fledged invasion in February 2022. Trade and finance ministers from 38 OECD member nations gathered for a two-day ministerial summit in Paris on Tuesday to stress cooperation, resilience, and inclusiveness in international trade. According to Associated Press, the OECD predicted slower growth as a result of U.S. tariffs and the uncertainty they've caused across the global economy. Manuel Tovar, the Costa Rican Minister for Foreign Trade and chair of the OECD Ministerial Council meeting, opened the meetings alluding to the global disruptions but encouraged the attendees to strive toward cooperation and inclusiveness. "We're living through times that test not only our economies but our values, our cohesion, our shared vision for the future," Tovar said. "Around us blow the winds of geopolitical tensions, economic disruptions, climate change, and then an accelerating tide of digital transformation. In the shadow of conflicts including Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine, another volatile dynamics across the globe, the answer is not to turn inward but to come together. We must stand and remain united." Maro Sefcovic, EU's Commissioner for Trade and Economic Security, attended the opening ceremony and family photo. He is reported to be meeting with U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer on Wednesday to negotiate U.S. tariffs on the sidelines of the OECD summit.
Les quatre comme ça.